Those are the headlines this hour, but we start this hour in Southeast Asia, and overnight rockets have been fired at the Thai-Cambodia border near the town of Surin, despite US President Donald Trump's claim that a truce has been agreed between Thailand and Cambodia. Cambodia has accused Thailand continued to drop bombs in its territory hours after US President Donald Trump said the neighbours had agreed to stop fighting. Meanwhile, Thailand's Prime Minister reiterated that Thailand will continue its military action on Cambodia until it has no more threats. Cambodia and Thailand have been exchanging heavy weapons fire at multiple points along the 817-kilometre border since last week, in some of the heaviest fighting since a 5-day clash in July. Joining us now is Ross Feingold. He is a political analyst and he joins us live from Taipei in Taiwan. Ross, thank you very much for joining us. Rockets are still flying after Donald Trump claimed a truce. Do you think there was ever a real ceasefire here, or just a political photo opportunity by the US president?
I would assume that when President Trump spoke to the leaders in Cambodia and Thailand, that they would have told President Trump, we do want a ceasefire. I think they're actually sincere in that desire. I wouldn't doubt that. And excuse me. And again, they would have told that to President Trump, or President Trump would have asked them, please have a ceasefire, and they would have said yes. Translating that into action on the ground has proved difficult. As you've said, the bullets and the artillery continue to fly back and forth. So it is difficult to get the troops on the front line to actually stop firing each other. And frankly, that's not unusual in these kinds of situations. So it still may be several hours or even several more days until they do effectively stop and even pull back a bit. And getting them to pull back is an important factor here as well, because the close proximity does lead to this exchange of small arms fire.
Ross, and do you think this shows the limitations of Washington's peace negotiating skills? Of course, Southeast Asia isn't a region that Washington is too familiar with, as opposed to the Middle East or other regions. What are your thoughts about Donald Trump's peacemaking process when it comes to Thailand and Cambodia?
President Trump has used trade as the tool to persuade the two countries to reach a ceasefire. You know, he linked the issue of tariffs, or the threat of higher tariffs, to a ceasefire when hostilities began earlier this year, and he's continuing to talk about that as an option as well. And we shouldn't underestimate how effective that tool could be. These countries do consider the U.S. an important export market. They do want closer trade relations with the United States. And American companies are also significant investors, certainly in Thailand and maybe less so in Cambodia. So these countries do want to have a good relationship with the United States. They also want to have a good relationship with China. That's a fact as well. But ultimately, I still think that both Cambodia and Thailand are susceptible to pressure, both from the U.S., from China, and also from their ASEAN neighbors as well. But again, there's clearly a problem with translating this into action on the ground and getting the two militaries to pull back.
And Ross, how does this round of fighting compare to those clashes in July? Are we seeing an escalation of use in the sort of military equipment that's being used?
It does seem to be moving in that direction. So yes, we should not underestimate the possibility of this worsening if they don't implement a ceasefire quickly. We see a willingness, for example, to use aircraft, and that should be a concern, not just for people in the affected areas, but again for other governments in the region, as well as the U.S. And China. And there also is a very significant issue here. Even though Cambodia has upgraded its military in recent years, Thailand's military still has significantly more resources than Cambodia. So if this situation were to worsen, one could safely assume that the Thai military's ability to inflict significant pain on Cambodia is greater than Cambodia's ability to do so on Thailand. So again, that's just one more reason why I think stakeholders really want to bring this to a halt as quickly as possible.
And Ross, finally, what is the biggest indicator viewers and spectators should watch for in the next few hours, the next few days? More strikes, troop movements, or of course diplomacy?
I would look for diplomacy, and I would look for the people who are closest on the ground. So that would be ASEAN. There's the outgoing chairman, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, has been so involved in this issue over the course of the past 4 or 5 months, and the 2026 chairman, President Marcos of the Philippines. They're on the ground. They could fly there. They could bring the parties to meet. Whether in Kuala Lumpur or in Manila or some other location in the region. So yes, the U.S. is involved, China's involved, but President Trump is far away in Washington, D.C., and those other ASEAN leaders really could play the key role in diplomacy.
Ross Feingold, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for taking the time and joining us. We now move over to South